Hello, you're welcome to Parenting with Ease. My name is Mojisola Shetunde. I'm a parent coach and I'm a sexuality educator. If you are new to this channel, this is a channel where I talk about everything parenting. I give you parenting skills and steps that can help your parenting journey. And I also talk about sexuality education for every parent that are finding it difficult to start a sexuality education discussion with their children. This is the right channel for you. So please click the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel, and also put the notification bell so that you can always be notified whenever I post any video. So let's delve into the topic of today. Thank you. Today, I will be discussing, or I'll be sharing with you some of the things or some of the reasons why many parents refuse to teach their children sexuality education. I know when you hear sexuality education, many things are going on in your mind. Relax, chill. You understand me? Just chill a bit and listen to what I'm going to be saying, because this is the time and age where we need to talk to our children. If you are finding it difficult to communicate with your child, you might be having challenges in discussing sexuality education with your child, because a child you do not have the right communication with, you might find it very difficult to talk to that child about sexuality education. So the first step for you is to quickly amend your communication lines, make it open with your child before you start the discussion about sexuality education. So I will give you some reasons that makes many parents not want to discuss sexuality education with their children. The number one reason many parents don't talk about sexuality education with their children is that they don't think it is necessary. Sometimes I feel so sad and I feel so disturbed in my spirit, because many parents are still talking about sexuality education is not necessary. Who told you? Who said it's not necessary? In fact, this is the time that it is very, very compulsory, not only necessary, it's important for you to start the sexuality education with your child. So remove that little myth or whatever you might be thinking in your mind as parents, and say the reason why you're not talking about sexuality education with your child is because you think it's not necessary. This is not the time for you to think that. This is the time for you to take the bull by the horn and know that it is very important to start a discussion. That is the number one reason. Many parents think it's not necessary, but it's very important, not only necessary. The second reason many parents refuse to teach their children sexuality education is because they are too embarrassed. Are you embarrassed? Okay, I'm asking you, as an intentional parent, are you embarrassed to talk about sexuality education with your child? They feel it's a dirty thing to talk about. They feel, no, my child is not supposed to hear this kind of thing. But do you understand that your children are hearing a lot of things outside your home? They are conversing with people. They are conversing with third party. They have friends that they talk to. Don't look at your child as that little child, whether your child is 5 years old or 6 years old. No. There is no need for you to be embarrassed. You need to sit up. Don't give any kind of excuse. You need to start talking about sexuality education with your child. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Because once you make your child to think that it's a dirty thing, then the child is going to have a negative perception about sexuality education. So the second reason why many parents don't talk about sexuality education is because they are too embarrassed to talk about it. The third reason that I know many parents don't want to talk about sexuality education with their children is because they feel incompetent. They feel, I don't know what to say. Where do I start? What do I say? How do I even call my child and say, you come here, I want to talk about sexuality education with you? You feel incompetent, you think you're not equipped, or you think you don't have information, or you're not knowledgeable to even talk about sexuality education with your child. Why not look for a certified sexuality educator to enlighten you, to teach you, to give you all the steps and skills on how you can talk to your child about sexuality education. Remember that when you don't know something, you need to learn. You need to be informed about that particular thing. It's not only other things. Sexuality education is as important as every other thing. So many parents feel they are incompetent. That's the third reason I'm giving you for why parents find it difficult talking to their children about sexuality education. Do you feel incompetent? You can learn and you can get informed today. The fourth reason many parents find it difficult to talk to their children about sexuality education is because they are too busy. Oh, let me coin it this way. They feel they are too busy. One thing I believe is that when something is important to you, there's no amount of time that you will not find to give time for that person or for that thing. Your children are important to you. And I think you should find time. You balance things. If you don't have time today, you can find time tomorrow. In fact, time should not be something that you should be finding difficult to give to your child because your child requires your time. Don't be too busy for your child. Every child requires their parents' attention. And I'm talking about intentional parenting. If you're intentional about your children, you will find time for them. You won't be too busy to talk about sexuality education as well as other things with your children. That is the fourth reason that many parents find it challenging in discussing sexuality education with their child. The fifth reason many parents find it difficult to teach their children sexuality education is because they think it's not their duty. Really? You think it's not your duty to teach your children sexuality education? You know, it baffles me when I hear many parents say, the science teacher will teach my child in school. After all, my child offers biology and my child offers science. So the science teacher is going to teach my child. Oh my God, I'm really, really sorry because this is not the right thing. This is not the right way to go about it. You shouldn't depend on your child's science teacher or biology teacher to teach your child sexuality education. Sexuality education starts from the home. You are your child's first role model. You are the child's parent. You should stand to your duty. You should stand up, sit your child down, and talk to the child about sexuality education. You don't need to depend on any third party to teach your child sexuality education. This is the fifth reason why many parents refuses to teach their children sexuality education because they think the science teacher or biology teacher will teach their children. Number 6 reason why many parents fail to teach their children about sexuality education is because they will say, after all, I wasn't taught by my parents. My parents didn't teach me anything about sexuality education. I just knew it as I was growing up through my friends, through my neighbor. I watched it on TV. I read some in novels, in books. Stop it. In fact, stop it right now. The fact that your parent didn't teach you doesn't mean that you shouldn't teach your child. This is not the era of excuse. This is the time to stand up to your duty. Because your parent did not teach you doesn't mean that you should not teach your child. Your parent might not know anything about sexuality education. Peradventure, they even know they might not be able to communicate it with you. But now you know. Now you understand. Now you are aware of whatever is going on around you. And you should be able to teach your child sexuality education. So the number 6 reason why many parents refuse to teach their children sexuality education is because they feel, I wasn't taught by my parents. Stop it, like I said. Teach your child sexuality education. The 7th and the last reason that I will be giving you about why many parents don't want to teach their children sexuality education is because many parents think they are not qualified because maybe they have been failures in that area. So they feel that, what will I say to my child? I've done some terrible things while I was growing up. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you care about your child and you're ready to teach that child about sexuality education so that that child does not fall into any form of danger, or the child will be safeguarded and protected when you give your child this rudiments and some steps on how the child can protect him or herself from predators. I feel many parents think that they are failures and they are not qualified to talk to their child about sexuality education. You don't need to feel bad, and you don't need to feel you are not qualified. This is your child. You should be able to communicate with your child and be able to safeguard and protect your child from predators. I will leave this before I go. The greatest enemy to teaching your child about sexuality education is silence. If you keep quiet and you don't teach your child sexuality education, third parties will teach your child sexuality education. I'm not talking about human beings. In fact, I'm talking about music. I'm talking about posters and billboards. They are going to teach your child sexuality education, and it might not be the right thing. You should be able to start sexuality education with your child. Don't get embarrassed. Don't feel you're not qualified. Take up this duty as parents. Be the first role model in your child's life and teach your child sexuality education. I hope you will start sexuality education discussion with your child today. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you, your comments. If you have learned anything from this video, drop your comments in the comment section, and I will give response to your comments. And like I said, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Share this video to as many parents that you know can benefit from it. And I will be expecting you next time. Thank you for joining my channel. The methods of parenting has changed and is evolving, but the goal of parenting remains the same, which is raising a wholesome child to fulfill his or her potential while adding value to the society. Thank you for watching this video. Till I come your way next time. Bye.